We're talking about the lawsuit that Drake has slapped against his own label,
Oh, yeah.
UMG Universal Music Group. And this all kind of stems from Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us. We've got excerpts from a Variety article that goes into detail about UMG's efforts to get this whole thing tossed out. So
It's interesting.
what are we going to do today? We're going to try to unpack
Yeah, we're going to break down the arguments from both sides.
the core arguments from each side and then try to figure out what the real conflict is here.
Yeah, so the backdrop of all of this is,
Well, and it's interesting, too, because Drake, he's been pretty vocal in the
That's right.
past about
using
artists' creative work.
Yeah, an artist's creative expression being used against them in legal battles.
Being used against them in legal stuff.
And now he's doing it.
And now he's the one doing it.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's rewind a little bit and, let's break down what exactly is at the heart of Drake's lawsuit against UMG.
So at the heart of Drake's lawsuit, which was filed in New York in January of 2025, is the idea that UMG intentionally promoted Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us to spread false and really defamatory accusations, specifically that Drake is, a criminal pedophile.
Wow.
And
Heavy stuff.
beyond that, he's saying that this promotion was designed to incite vigilante justice against him. So
Oh, wow.
it goes beyond just the lyrics themselves.
Right, so he's saying it's not just the lyrics.
Yeah, it's the intention behind UMG in amplifying that particular message.
Right, so for Drake, it sounds like the real issue is the label's motive
Exactly.
behind promoting this.
The legit motive behind it, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously UMG has fired back with their own motion to dismiss this whole thing. So what's the main thing they're saying?
Well, the main argument that UMG is putting forward, and it's actually pretty blunt, as reported in the Variety article, is that Drake is just suing because he lost a rap battle that he started.
Oh, so they're just saying he can't take the heat.
Yeah, they're framing it as like a bruised ego,
Oh,
seeking a legal remedy for essentially, getting beat
ouch.
on a musical battle.
So they're not pulling any punches.
Not at all, no.
Okay, so what are the actual legal grounds on which they're trying to get this case dismissed?
So UMG has a few legal arguments that they're using here. First and foremost, they say that Drake hasn't actually presented a valid claim for defamation, and their reasoning behind that is that Not Like Us is, expressing opinions and what they call rhetorical hyperbole rather than actual verifiable facts.
Right.
And legally speaking, defamation hinges on a false statement of fact.
Right.
So they're saying that Lamar's lyrics, even if they're provocative, even if they're critical, are just artistic expression and not these factual assertions that UMG then, endorses as truth.
Yeah, so it really comes down to
It's a fine line.
that line between fact and opinion.
Exactly.
And I mean, that comes up a lot in these cases.
Yeah, you see it a lot, especially with artistic expression.
Yeah. Are there any sort of legal precedents that kind of tell us where that line is drawn?
Yeah, the courts have often recognized, a certain degree of poetic license when it comes to artistic expression, especially in genres that are known for hyperbole and exaggeration,
Right.
like rap,
Right.
I mean, you can't take everything literally.
Right. And the context of a rap battle
That matters too.
is going to matter in a case like this, right?
Right? Of course.
Yeah.
Because that's where lyrical sparring and, heightened rhetoric is part of the form.
Yeah.
So UMG will probably be pointing to cases where the courts have been really hesitant to interpret, lyrics in a rap battle as literal truth.
So they're basically saying,
They're saying, look,
this is part of the game.
this is how it's played.
This is how rap battles go.
Yeah. And we can't be held liable
And you're trying to hold us liable for
for promoting something that's just part of the genre.
something that's just part of the genre.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else are they saying besides that?
So they're also saying that Drake's claims of harassment in the second degree and violations of the New York general business law,
Yeah.
those lack a legal basis.
Okay.
The Variety article doesn't get into the specifics of their reasoning there, but, generally speaking, for something to be harassment, you have to show that there was a course of conduct intended to cause, serious emotional distress.
Yeah.
And when it comes to business law, claims that usually has to do with unfair or deceptive practices, which UMG says just don't apply here.
Right. So it sounds like they're saying if the defamation thing doesn't stick,
Yeah, if that doesn't hold up,
these other things aren't really going to
then the rest of it kind of falls apart.
fall apart.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're also saying that Drake's being a little bit of a hypocrite here.
Yeah, they bring up what they see as a double standard.
Yeah, talk about that.
So they're basically asking, why is it okay for them to promote Drake's own diss tracks
Right.
aimed at Lamar, which might have, some pretty harsh criticisms or even, shady insinuations.
Right.
But it's not okay for them to promote Lamar's tracks directed at Drake.
Yeah.
They're arguing that their role as a label is to promote the music of all their artists.
Right.
Even if that music is, part of a public feud.
Even if it gets messy.
Yeah, they're saying to selectively promote one side over the other in a battle like that would be biased, and it would interfere with the creative expression of their artists.
It's a good point.
It is.
Because it puts them in a really tricky position.
It does.
If they have to start drawing a legal line on what can and cannot be in a rap battle, I mean, where does that end?
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and the article also mentions that UMG filed another motion down in Texas.
Yeah, that's right.
What was that all about?
So that was a separate motion to dismiss, specifically targeting Drake's request for a deposition before the lawsuit.
Okay.
So basically, Drake was trying to gather evidence to support his claim that UMG, went overboard in promoting Not Like Us after it was released back in May.
Right.
And UMG's counterargument in Texas was that Drake hadn't provided enough evidence to justify that kind of pre-suit discovery.
Okay.
So it seems like they're challenging his narrative.
On multiple fronts.
Yeah, both on the content of the song and how they promoted it.
So they're really painting this picture of Drake as someone who started this whole thing.
Yeah.
Lost, and now he's trying to use the legal system to...
Like revenge.
Yeah. So what's Drake's team saying in response to all of this?
Well, Variety included a statement from Drake's attorney, Michael J. Gottlieb, and his response is pretty strong. He's saying that UMG is trying to distract from the fact that they made money
Okay.
from what he calls dangerous misinformation, and Gottlieb is claiming that this information has already led to actual violence.
Wow, so they're taking it
Yeah, so it's not just about hurt feelings anymore.
to a whole other level.
Yeah, they're saying there are real-world consequences.
Do you think that kind of shifts the focus away from this?
I think it tries to.
Artistic expression.
It tries to. Because by focusing on the alleged real-world harm, and the fact that UMG Supuestamente knew about this and profited from it, Drake's team is trying to argue that this goes way beyond just a typical rap battle.
And it becomes more about corporate responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that UMG has a responsibility for potentially harmful content.
So basically, it sounds like UMG is saying, this is just rap.
Yeah, this is how the game is played.
And Drake's team is saying, no, no, no.
This is real life. This has real consequences.
This has gone too far.
Yeah.
And you profited off of it.
And you profited off of it.
Yeah, and his attorney also makes this pretty big accusation.
Yeah.
He says that this lawsuit will expose UMG's long history of endangering, abusing, and taking advantage of its artists.
Oh, yeah.
So that suggests that they might be going after UMG for more than just this one song.
It sounds like they might be trying to broaden the scope
Yeah.
and go after their business practices as a whole.
So it's almost like they're saying that UMG has a bigger responsibility
A bigger responsibility.
than just promoting music, especially when it contains these.
Especially when it contains these serious accusations
Yeah.
that are potentially unfounded.
Now let's get back to that thing that UMG brought up about Drake's own words in the past.
Yeah.
About how artists' creative work shouldn't be used in legal cases.
Oh, that's a big one.
I mean, that seemed like a strong argument against him.
It's a strong point for UMG.
Yeah.
For sure, because they're highlighting that, just a few years ago, Drake himself signed this petition that was criticizing how prosecutors were using artists' work against them by interpreting lyrics as like factual admissions.
Yeah.
And they actually quote from that petition, and then they just say flat out, Drake was right then and is wrong now.
Oh, man.
Which is a really smart move on their part because it suggests that there's some inconsistency there.
Yeah, it makes him look a little hypocritical.
It does, yeah.
So they're basically using his own past words
To discredit him.
to discredit him.
And to back up their argument that this song is just artistic expression within this, context of a rap battle.
So they're saying he's going against his own principles.
Exactly.
All right, so to recap here, we've got Drake arguing that UMG was irresponsible.
Right.
They defamed him by promoting this song with all these harmful allegations that might have even led to violence.
Yeah.
And that they knew what they were doing and they do it for profit.
For the money.
And then on the clip side, you have UMG saying, look, this is a frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah, you're just a sore loser.
You're just mad you lost the rap battle.
Yeah.
And this content is protected as opinion.
It's hyperbole. It's part of the genre.
And they're even throwing Drake's own past statements back in his face.
Saying you said it yourself.
Yeah.
That lyrics shouldn't be used in court.
That sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, it's a pretty fundamental disagreement about how to interpret this song.
And what UMG's role was.
Yeah, and all of this is happening within this really intense rivalry. And with Drake's, seemingly changing stance on how the law should treat lyrics.
Yeah, this case really highlights how complicated things can get.
It is complicated.
When you mix art and business and the law.
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
So to wrap things up for you today, we've looked at this legal fight between a huge artist and his label
It's a big one.
over the promotion of a song with some serious accusations.
Yeah.
And it's all playing out against the backdrop of this very public, very personal rap feud.
Yeah.
With Drake's own past statements about, creative expression and the law kind of looming over everything.
It's definitely adding fuel to the fire.
And this leads to some pretty interesting questions.
It does.
What do you think this case really says about the balance between artistic expression and an artist's reputation and the responsibility of a big corporation?
Yeah, how much responsibility do they have?
Especially when these rivalries get so intense and public.
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
And what does this mean for how record labels deal with controversial content in the future?
Yeah, especially when it comes to these feuds.
Yeah,
It's something to keep thinking about,
definitely food for thought.
for sure.
All right, well, thanks for diving in with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Keep it.